Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be reviewing the short 2-episode OVA by Studio Madhouse called Battle Angel Alita, also known as Gunnm, based on the 9-volume manga series by Yukito Kishiro that ran in Business Jump from 1990 to 1995. The OVA covers the first 2 volumes of the manga, although due to time constraints, it does gloss over some things. This OVA in question follows the story of Gally, a robotic girl who was discovered in a scrapyard by a cyber physician named Ito. She is refurbished by Ito and becomes acquainted with a boy named Yugo, whom she becomes infatuated with. The characters live in Scrap Iron City, a city that sits below a floating utopia known as Zalem. The plot revolves around the mysterious murders happening at night in Scrap Iron City, Ito's partner Shirin trying to convince him to help her to return to Zalem, bounty hunting, and Yugo's own attempts to make it to the hovering utopia. The anime has a good story, although I felt as though the pacing was too quick in some places, but this is most likely due to time constraints, considering it's merely a 2-episode OVA. The characters are well written and have believable motivations in regards to the situations that place them below Zalem. Multiple characters, such as Yugo and Shirin, aspire to make it to Zalem, but employ different means in their attempts to move on up. This is an understandable and empathetic desire that makes sense in the context of their lives, which amounts to a class struggle between the haves and have-nots. Ito, however, is content in his position below Zalem, and tries to make a living as a bounty hunter, known as a hunter-warrior. Gally herself tries to find purpose in her own life by becoming a hunter-warrior, later attempting to aid Yugo in his ascension to the utopia he dreams of residing in. I liked the world the anime portrays, and the OVA did its job in interesting me in reading the manga. While the anime only covers a small portion of the manga series, it has an impactful ending that, while not fully satisfying, does have a sense of closure that makes watching the 2-episode OVA enjoyable. I was not left feeling let down by the ending, something that can't be said with every anime that only adapts a sliver of a larger narrative. The characters have good designs to them, and the villains have that over-the-top 90s aesthetic that personally I like a lot. The animation is pretty fluid for the time, and I don't really have any complaints in that regard. The soundtrack didn't really stand out to me that much, and while the English dubbing was serviceable, it was noticeably bad at parts, mainly when characters were screaming during combat. That's probably the worst thing I can say about Battle Angel Alita, because besides some dubbing issues, this OVA is a quality one when considering the time period in which it was produced. Admittedly, my personal biases do make me like the show more than I may have otherwise. I'm a sucker for 90s anime, and anything that can be described as cyberpunk, so if you don't personally enjoy these things, you may not have as good a time as I did when watching Battle Angel Alita. That being said, I do see myself coming back to the OVA from time to time, and hopefully I was able to help you decide whether or not it's worth your time. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and have a great evening.